So gorgeous. Been working all day, but it's okay. Still gotta get content for the tube.
For the tube.
For the tube. Alright.
Ready?
What is up, YouTube fam?
Oh,
welcome.
Okay. I'm ready now.
What is up, YouTube fam? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for clicking on the video. As you guys can see, I have a very special guest with me today.
Hi.
I have Ifbb Bikini Pro Tayler Jordan here. She is a PE Science teammate, and we've actually been like one of the longest running PE Science athletes, I think.
Do you call it the OG? Is that what
the
they
OG,
say?
yeah. Is that what they say on the streets today?
I think so.
Yeah, but why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I've been a bikini pro for 2 years now, and I recently moved, I say recently, but I've been in Tampa for 2 years now working at MI40 Gym under Ben Pukulski. I don't know if anybody...
If you guys don't know him, you guys need to go find him.
He's a smart cookie. So I've had the privilege of learning under him for the past 2 years, and I'm really excited to view training in a different perspective. So instead of just going to the gym and doing random exercise, there's actually a thought process behind how we do our training, how to structure your training, how to execute your exercises. It's really just taking everything to a whole nother level, whether you're a beginner or a professional. So that's been really exciting, and that's me. So
and you do personal training
there?
Yeah,
so we do personal training there, and just put out as much content as we can to inform.
The best part is that, like, you know how everyone says mind-muscle connection? She kind of puts that into like context and actually explains it to you. It's not just like, oh yeah, just mind-muscle connection. No, she teaches you how to like actually put that into your training and maximize your results. So that's what we're going to be talking about today. But since we're both Ifbb Bikini pros, we all know it's about the glutes. We all know you ladies love glute training, and you all want to know how to make your glutes look nice and round and full. So that's what she's here for today. She's going to talk a little bit about how you can make your glute training that much more effective. So what makes your glute training so different?
So anybody can give you a random exercise to do, and even when you have someone on Instagram who has over 100,000 followers say, I do it this way because I feel it better, we know why it feels better. So once you understand how the glutes function and what the anatomy of the glutes look like, then everything else makes more sense. So anyone can teach you exercises for glutes, but what we really emphasize, that's the word. What we really emphasize is how to feel the contraction of the glute, and then you can apply everything so much better. So instead of just saying do this exercise or that exercise, we train the extremes of the muscles. So we train the glutes in their fully shortened contraction, or we get them fully lengthened, or sometimes there's just an exercise where we're just working and keeping the glutes in the mid-range. But when you understand how the glutes work and how they function, you can apply that to your training so much more effectively than you can just say, I did this exercise for so many reps. Like, what part of your glutes were you training there? How did that muscle work? Like, what rep range were you doing, or how were you executing those exercises? Were you using power or strength or hypertrophy? There's so many things that go into the training that you can apply to make everything so much better, rather than just teaching you an exercise.
So when she was telling me about this, I was like, wait, I haven't even heard of that before. So I want her to give us an example of her ideal glute training workout would be like.
So if I have a client come in for the first time, the very first thing we do is like a primer set. So we really try to get the muscle fully shortened, really squeezing the muscle. So this applies for anything, but specifically for glutes, two of our favorite starting exercises for primers to get the glutes fully shortened would be an example of like a glute bridge or a 45-degree hip extension. So when you're really just focusing on the contraction of the muscle, it's not about a certain exercise, it's about squeezing the muscle. As Ben would say, squeeze it like it owes you money. So I would take my client to a glute bridge. That would be my favorite start. We can band the glute bridge or use a barbell. Usually we start with just body weight, because it's surprising that most of our clients actually have never gotten their glutes fully shortened. So just getting to that range of motion takes their training to a whole nother level in that one exercise. So after we get the glutes primed and fully shortened and
would
learn
this be
how
what
to
everyone's
squeeze,
calling glute activation?
Exactly, that would be
So what
for
is
lack
glute
of better
activation?
term.
There you go.
You can call it that if you'd like, but that would be getting the glutes fully shortened.
Okay.
And this can be done in many different ways, but this is my personal way of how I would apply it for my client. When I was first learning, this is how I learned best, so it's always better to relate to someone when I've done it myself that way. Next, I like to take them to an exercise that gets the glute fully lengthened. So when we've trained the shortened position of the glute, we want to get it fully lengthened as well. So working the extremes of the muscle is going to be a huge opportunity for improvement. A lot of times we like to not spend a lot of time in the range of motion where it doesn't feel good. So we don't like to squeeze for a long time. We don't like to stretch the muscle for a long time. So the second thing I would have them do is really fully lengthen the glute. And this can be done in an RDL. And I have a full series on this on my personal YouTube. Yes.
Which will be down below. You guys need to go check her out because this is just like a little bit of what she knows. Like that brain is filled with so many things. So
the RDL would be an example. This is a huge exercise that's not really executed well when you're just training the glutes. There's so many things you can do to improve keeping it out of your lower back, or so check that out if you want help with that. Another tool we could do is a hip dominant squat that would also get the glutes fully lengthened. So first we've gotten them really shortened with a bridge. Then I would take them and get them fully lengthened with a hip dominant squat. And when I say fully lengthened, we would spend a lot of time in that lengthened position, like 2 or 3 seconds in the bottom of your squat to really fully stretch the glutes.
And by hip dominant squat, what do you exactly mean by that?
So a lot of people will put like a squat in a program, but you can do a squat for quads or you can do a squat for glutes. And a hip dominant squat would be isolating the glutes more so than a quad dominant squat. So how I would finish, and this would be like for a very first time client coming in for their first glute session, something with output. So not really getting the glutes fully lengthened or fully shortened, but getting into a mid-range where we can really do some work. So throwing on a lot of weight on a heavy hip dominant leg press, which means feet high and wide to really isolate the glutes. And we would do lots of reps in that mid-range to really just feel the contraction and get some work done. So that would burn out the mid-range. So that would just be a way I would take them to get them, for maybe the first time ever in their lives, their glutes to their fully lengthened and shortened position. And that's how we would optimize your training.
That's amazing. That's crazy how like when you put it that way, it's just there's a lot more that goes into it than just doing squats and doing your little kickbacks. Yeah. So I'm really happy that I was able to bring you on the channel, have you explain this to everyone and kind of give it a new perspective, because I feel like glute training isn't really explained very well, and I'm super guilty for that, and that's why I don't do it as often, because I don't know as much as you do. So I just leave it to experts like her who have been able to learn from other people who look into more of the scientific approach of it. So I'm super excited that I was able to get you on here. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I hope you guys found that super helpful. If you did, you know what to do. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up. I will be putting all of Taylor's information down below and right here as well. You can go check her out on Instagram, YouTube, all of that. You need to go check it out. So thank you so much for tuning in, you guys. I hope you guys liked the video. Make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed to my channel and you enjoy my content, then make sure you hit that subscribe button. If you have any questions for me or Taylor, make sure to leave them down below or in her channel. And that is about all. What else do you want to say before we head out?
Thank you.
Catch you guys in the next one. Mwah. Give me a kiss.